How do we road trip? Wow.
Wow.
How do we road trip? Okay. Um, so you want this to be super spontaneous,
Yep,
uh,
pretty spontaneous.
and being the dad that I am, I'm super.
You're super not spontaneous?
I'm super worried. If you are chaos, then I am order.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that
I
fun?
like to let chaos in.
Okay, well you can just let all the chaos in as you want,
Uh-huh.
and then I will dabble in the order.
You're gonna filter it?
Yes,
Okay. All
you get to
right.
hold the fun, and I'll police it.
Okay. Let's go to Alaska.
So you want this to be a road trip.
Yeah.
Um, so to go to Alaska, I have it right here. Let's see how long it would take us.
Well, your
Oh,
audio sucks.
my audio sucks.
Yeah. I think maybe headphone might be better.
Oh my god. I'm literally screaming in my room, trying to make this audio good.
It's
Maybe I just need to use my diaphragm.
yeah.
Diaphragm.
Diagram.
Okay. To go to Alaska by car, it would take us 70 hours, which we do not have. Wow. I love how it on Google Maps it gives me alternative ways to go to Alaska by car,
Yeah.
as though I would need these alternative ways. Like that's amazing. Google's amazing. How does it calculate that? Oh my god. So I shut that down. Do you have any better ideas? More feasible ones?
I mean, like we choose we use random number generator
Okay.
to choose an angle between if you don't want to go down south, which I think is reasonable.
Yes.
We pick an angle from zero zero to 180 degrees.
Yes.
And then,
Mississauga.
yeah, from Mississauga.
Okay.
And then based on the angle, we head in that general direction. What's
Yes.
the destination in that general direction?
Yes. I'm okay with that. The issue is
Yeah,
I'm looking at the map. So this is Mississauga here.
yeah,
Toronto's this way,
uh-huh,
and Canada bends like this. But there's like this lake thing over here on
uh-huh,
this side.
yeah,
So from 0 to like 90, it's okay. There's lots of land.
yeah,
But then you get past 90 degrees and you just start going to Tobermory
yeah.
slash the water.
We can go to the water.
Okay,
It's a sign that we should go to the water.
that's not a bad idea. Okay,
Okay.
I enjoy that. Do
I
we?
mean, do
Yeah.
do it, and if it's a bad destination, then we don't do it.
Okay, we only get one shot.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want me to? I can screen share this.
Yeah. Screen share a destination.
Okay.
Yeah. Screen share the random number generator. Wow.
Oh God. Okay. Okay, that's a lot of random number generators. I'm gonna. Okay. You see this?
Create an infinity mirror.
I'm gonna do this. Is it okay? Okay. 1 to 180, right?
Yeah, I know Google could do this. Y'all also do 0, 0.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, 0.
All right. Ready?
Oh, fine.
It's okay. Yeah.
3, 2, 1. 24 degrees.
Oh,
Okay,
shit.
that's promising.
24
Okay,
is like 24 is like
it's Toronto.
I was born June 4th. Kobe Bryant's number is 24.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
The
So
sign. Wait, can I get an on-screen ruler over here? No. How do I calculate this angle?
you should
I
get
know.
a physical protractor.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I
And then
wait.
favorite destinations along the protractor line.
Okay. I don't have. I don't use protractors anymore. I left that in grade 8.
Yeah. How about I apply a protractor? I mean, or if you have another clever solution, that works too.
Well, I'm just doing this. Oh, do you see this?
Oh, you're using a pung.
I am using a pen. Oh, this is very hard.
I can see.
Okay. I can't look at images on the screen anymore. Wow, using a protractor. Okay, I got it. I don't know how I'm gonna apply it, but right there. Okay.
Right.
So 24 degrees is right this way. It's literally along the line of Toronto.
Right.
Right here. So it's backing away now. Okay. And I wish I could draw a physical line. Actually, I can. This
Yeah.
is here. Oh, this is blessed. Okay. This is what we got here.
I think you'll need to zoom out more, Paul.
You want to go all the way to like Quebec and stuff?
Just keep zooming out. I want to see where this leads.
Okay. Well, the angle's gonna get a lot less accurate the more I zoom out. Here we go. I'm trying real hard here. Oh wow, that's a thick line.
I was literally just in Montreal.
This is the northeast that I was talking about.
Ah.
We can go to like Quebec City, Montreal, Ottawa. Wow, this is a golden number. We just discovered a number
Yeah.
that basically gives you the best like vacation locations, easy vacation locations in Ontario and Quebec. You just start at Mississauga and you go 24 degrees
Oh.
that way.
And then you have everything.
Pretty much.
Huh.
I'm gonna zoom out even more. Now the angle is gonna be really, really inaccurate, but I mean I'm trying.
Oh my god, we're going to Newfoundland.
I guess we're going to New.
Oh no, it's not Newfoundland. No.
Wait, New Brunswick?
Yeah. Just the tip.
Wait, this is really hard. You get the idea. Okay.
Paul, I don't want to go to Montreal again.
No, I've been there enough. I've been there enough times. The thing is, I also am considering the rental vehicle.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, thinking. I don't know if I can go from, or we can go from Ontario to Quebec with like an Ontario vehicle, you know?
You have to stay within the province.
Yeah,
Okay.
that might be a thing.
We can.
We can go to Ottawa.
We could go to Ottawa.
Don't know what to do there.
No.
No. Me, me too.
Let's just go camping or something.
We could do that.
All right.
Guess we're not going 24 degrees.
Maybe we can go 24 degrees the other way.
24. Uh, to Lake Huron.
24 degrees to Lake Huron. I
Not
don't
bad.
know. Being spontaneous isn't fun. Isn't as fun as I thought.
No, because it's a little bit too chaotic.
Ontario's not that interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I did on the way to Montreal stop by Thousand Islands, just like near
Oh
Kings.
yeah.
That seemed like a pretty beautiful location.
I've been there once. I don't remember it very well. Didn't get to ride the boats.
Oh,
So
I got to ride the boats, so I can confirm that the boats were pretty cool. It's a bit too long. It's 2 hours.
man. It's not an island, but there's a knockoff Prince Edward sort of island. Do you see it? It's east of Toronto, northeast of Toronto. It's called Prince Edward. It's just an island, but it's not an island. Prince Edward, Ontario. It looks nice. The pictures look nice.
Prince Edward, Ontario.
It looks very Canadian.
Oh.
Yeah. There's not too many pictures. There's a beach.
Yeah, there's a beach.
There's a beach.
That sounds nice.
And we could say we went to Prince Edward Almost Island.
Ooh.
This is more like a... Sorry?
It's not far.
It's not far at all, which is nice.
Prince Edward
Peninsula.
What's in Prince Edward?
Literally nothing.
Literally nothing.
Parks. There's like the parks. There's the beach. Interesting lake. That's cool.
Yeah.
If anyone's watching, feel free to like give us suggestions on where to go. Someone flew over there. I want to try flying. That'd be cool. Or skydiving. My parents would not allow it, but they would only find out 10 years down the line.
Or if we live stream the skydive.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool.
Would you get data there? I don't know.
I think you would.
Really? Huh.
I think so. Well, maybe you're moving too fast for.
Yeah, can't catch up.
I mean, but the signal is moving at the speed of light. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not in physics school, man.
No, Paul, let's go to Tobermory.
You want to go to Tobermory? Have you been to Tobermory?
I've never been to Tobermory.
It's nice.
I mean, I've been, but I just don't remember.
I've been on the boats and stuff there. Not bad.
I can't hear you.
I've been on the boats. Oh, it's really bad. I've been on the boats. There we go.
But not camping.
No, is there camping? I guess there could be camping.
Yeah.
Oh, it was really bad.
There's camping 100%.
Oh, there's a Bruce Peninsula National Park.
Yeah.
Oh, Bruce Penn.
Yeah.
My housemates have been there.
And they said it was great.
Yeah, they liked it.
It's a national park too. It's not like a measly provincial park.
Yeah.
I want to go here.
Okay, let's look at some logistics here. Bruce Peninsula National Park. How many degrees is that? We have to tell people we went such and such degrees.
4.7 stars.
That's amazing.
Okay. It's happening.
Woo!
Oh, I also think you know the Bruce Trail?
Yeah.
Well, it goes there.
Oh.
So we can literally walk from Hamilton.
So from Mississauga, the walk is 50 hours,
Okay.
which is not bad. So
Yeah.
we could live stream the whole thing too.
We can bike there. I've actually thought about biking to Tobermory after my Niagara trip.
That's like only a day, man. If you get a head start early in the morning,
Yeah, yeah.
it's only a day.
Google Maps also shows you an elevation map, and that's not pretty. So that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I think you should try it, man. I think you should try it, and I can meet you there, and then I can just drive you home because you'll be kind of tired once you get there. So, does that work?
I might also be dead.
That's okay. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Save on food money,
Food money.
housing and stuff. Yeah.
Sure. I'd save so much money if I was dead. Wow.
These are things I've considered.
I never thought about it that way.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. But I think. Do you want to just like put that on the back burner now so we can
Yeah.
catch up for the week? We kind of have an idea of what we want to do. Sort of.
Okay. Okay.
Cool. So, dude, what did you learn this week?
What did I learn this week?
This week you learned.
So there's been some pretty big news in Toronto.
Okay. Which one?
Former NBA Finals MVP and two-time Defensive Player of the Year Kawhi Leonard is now in Toronto. He's been traded alongside Danny Green to the Toronto Raptors for DeMar DeRozan and Jakob Poeltl. And I've been trying to follow this situation more because it's like one of the biggest things that's happened in Toronto pro sports, like especially basketball. And I really like following the stories of each of the people in the NBA, all the stars, and the Toronto Raptors players. I think basketball players have very interesting stories.
What do you mean by interesting?
So I'll give you Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
So this guy is he's 6'7", but what makes him special is that he has like a wingspan of 7'3".
Oh my god.
Yeah, which is like the largest, wingspan for his size. So that makes him an incredibly good defender. He also has very huge hands.
And you know what that means?
The claw, because he can steal and rip away, the offense's balls, the basketball balls.
That's all you can do with big hands. It's true.
Yeah. So here's this incredibly talented player, but he has a backstory. He's like, his personality is like, he's a very quiet guy.
Okay.
He doesn't do much. So like when sports channels are trying to interview him, they he drives them crazy because he won't give he won't give answers longer than like 7 words.
Yeah.
So there's that aspect. Like he doesn't seem to be particularly drawn to all the big city lights, fame, money.
Really? I've heard the opposite. That's weird.
but from what I've read about his personality,
Yeah.
he seems really driven to become a good basketball player.
Okay.
That's primary motivation, it seems like. He lost his father at the age of 16. So his dad was like, working a car wash in Compton.
Mm.
And then some dude just drove in and then shot him. They haven't caught the dude since.
Wow.
Yeah, and there's a lot of different interesting things with his uncle, and like there's a shady sports agency business that he's involved in, and that side of Kawhi's management, Kawhi's crew seemed to have created some problems at his previous team.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this whole drama about Kawhi causing beef at the Spurs, and now he's in Toronto.
Right.
And
okay, people are worried.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Does that inspire you a bit? That story? I feel like a lot of athletes in particular have stories like that.
Yeah, no, there's so many exceptional stories like that, because like when you put together like very exceptional people,
Mm-hmm.
I think you're bound to have exceptional stories.
Right.
So yeah, there's a lot of NBA players that grew up or came from very rough background.
Mm.
So DeMar DeRozan, the player that was in Toronto for 9 years, that was traded away, grew up in Compton.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's seen all kinds of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And his like sort of primary escape was basketball and putting work into basketball. That was his way out. So like he is, probably the most conscientious, hardworking basketball player in the NBA.
Right.
Yeah, and he's gone now though. The Toronto fans loved him because he's so loyal to Toronto, and he thought he would be playing his entire career here.
Yeah.
But we kind of traded him away, so
that's crazy. I don't know why they would do that, because team morale is a huge part of the game, right? And losing such a valued player just seems like a terrible idea, no matter what kind of talent you're bringing in.
Well, that depends on what your goal is. If your goal is to have a happy team that has a good morale, then yes, that is the better route to take. But if your goal is to win a championship,
okay,
then the consensus generally is that you need a superstar caliber player,
right,
in order to get you there.
Fair enough.
Kawhi Leonard is a superstar caliber player.
And maybe the hope is after they win one, they're just going to sort of forget about the old Raptors and, welcome the new team, the new flavor.
Yeah. No, I think if we achieve any degree of success, like anywhere close to that, fans will quickly forget about our past.
Man, that's tough to see. But, there's
heartless, but
yeah,
I think that's reality.
That's a good lesson there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like if you're not good enough,
you're
dumped. No matter how loyal or like how no matter how loyal, how good your character is, depending on the goal, you can be traded for.
Right.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I'm thinking of health side now.
Okay.
And similar ideas there. Where, the idea that if you can't produce enough outcome, you're sort of a failure. It kind of translates here, right? It doesn't matter the type of person you are or how much loyalty you show or things like that. If you can't produce the outcome, then you're traded away. You're worth less than someone who can produce more. It's kind of tough.
Worth less, but only with the ultimate prize as your perspective. Only if the ultimate prize is what you're aiming for, then is that, you know, all-star but not quite MVP player, they become worth less.
Right. So the system is based on outcome as the most worthwhile, most valuable thing, and not like loyalty or whatever.
Well, not outcome in itself, but a particular outcome.
Okay, right, okay.
Yeah, being best team in the NBA. Yeah, by measure of playoff success.
Right.
Yeah.
So I bring that up because like, outside felt like a bubble because they're like, oh yeah, you know, you should just be a good person, focus on process, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
But that was their outcome. But then you step out into the real world, and then outcome changes a lot, seemingly, in terms of what's important and what's not. I don't know. I feel that way. I don't know about you.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Hillside stresses process because the best process is required for obtaining the best outcome.
Right.
Like the process is the outcome because like what investing into like the process can produce is better than like whatever outcomes you may be able to imagine as a first year undergrad who has no idea about anything really.
Right.
So investing in how you learn, how you work with others, how you like look into yourself, those are all valuable things in terms of obtaining any objective.
It's true.
And it's like I see a lot of parallels between that and like the Raptors organization and leadership, because so in 2013, Raptors hired the new general manager Masai Ujiri, and he's been leading sort of like a culture change within the organization. So that's things like he always says things like he wants to develop a culture of winning because Toronto basketball was never really that great. It was always overlooked, like the butt of every joke among like NBA pundits.
Still is.
And still is, and you know, performed very poorly. But he recruited the type of players that all had a sense of like hunger to their game, like a lot of discipline, and you know, there's a behind the scenes documentary series called Open Gym that the Toronto Raptors put out, and there you get to see kind of like the family like a tight knit environment they've created with all the coaching staff and players and like with the top level management, and so that kind of process is behind what produced like some of the winningest seasons in Raptors history in the past 2-3 years. But that wasn't good enough to win a championship because that is the ultimate goal as as a NBA franchise. And so you run into limitations with what just focusing on process can do. Sometimes you need better talent.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, with the right process.
It's always a balance. My goodness. The golden mean is out there somewhere. I love it.
Something like that. So I think it was a good decision by Masai Ujiri
Okay.
to have Kawhi Leonard come here,
Yeah.
and you have to get rid of what you are to become what you might be.
Mm-hmm.
For the Toronto Raptors, that is the NBA champion.
Okay. All right.
Right.
You know, as long as the Raptors are able to generate an interesting playoff season for me, I don't really care what happens to them, to be honest. As long as they get to Game 7 and they choke, or I'm kidding. As long as they do something amusing, I'm happy with it. So there you go. That's my take. But yeah,
Not a true fan. Okay.
not a true fan. No.
It's okay. Filthy casuals.
Maybe someday.
I'm
Maybe
also
someday.
casual. I'm
Okay. Who won that bracket, by the way? We had a little bracket going.
We can check. I'm pretty sure I was last.
Were you? I was leading for like 2 months.
I predicted the Raptors to win.
That's why. That's why you lost. I'm sorry. Sorry?
Actually, no. We can check later.
Sure.
I was last.
Okay.
You are the bracket champion. Congratulations.
Amazing. Amazing.
Okay.
My bracket was called "Can we do a golf bracket instead?" and I won. Wonderful.
It hurts.
Also, say hi to Sam, who's watching from the shadows. Hi, Sam.
Hi, Sam.
Keeping it low key. I wanted to bring up something actually. It kind of relates to values or outcomes and stuff like that. Kind of very tangentially.
Okay.
Very tangentially.
Yeah.
So this past week, I went to this little gathering. So you know how I did that musical program kind of thing?
Yeah.
Or performed with a bunch of people. So a few of us got together, and like I was one of the youngest people there.
Yeah.
But this was like, I don't know how to say this without being super maybe racist. It was like imagine a white family.
Yeah.
And a white home, and it's that. Like
You're
it's
like
super
the adopted Asian Korean boy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Super like suburb. There's a pool in the backyard. My God.
Yeah.
There's like a freaking house that has the white decor. Paintings. Smells like some sort of air softener.
Yeah.
Whatever it's called.
Air freshener. Yeah.
Air freshener.
Not kimchi.
Not kimchi, not kalbi, no soy. But I went, and like they didn't plan it so that we would be there when their kids got back from a road trip actually. But somehow they arrived like a day earlier, and the kids were there, and like you could see the family having fun together, and like us, the musical people, we were having fun together on this side, and blah 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 blah. And it just made me think, like, in terms of values, having a big family or having a family and maybe like people around you, like your neighbors, or like having that big social network seems like a really nice thing. Like just having people over for dinner, or like, having like a neighborhood party once every 2 months or something like that. That's something I've never imagined myself partaking in, like as part of this like Asian family with like no relatives near us really, and no friends, no neighborhood friends, and like seeing this like super white family just have this kind of fun made me feel that's something I want. Like that's something I want to aim at. It's one of the aims that I want to put my focus onto, because man, I don't know what to say. Like there's so many values to put on there, but this is one of the things that I think I really want to work towards. and you have to work towards it, right? It's like a lot of effort. It's a lot of effort.
Yeah, yeah. I'm. What would you say? We had like a community experience.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
like
was so nice. Yeah,
sense of like belonging and harmonious kids running around, adults doing their.
yeah. There was a dog.
There
We
was a
had
dog
a
in
pool.
a safe and beautiful home.
Yeah, it's wow.
Yeah, yeah. I
It
mean,
was
I
a sight to
have a lot
see.
of things to say about that.
Okay.
Um, Community is something that like is definitely lacking in modern society.
Mm.
There was an article I read today. Let me read you a quote from it. And the article is called "The Epidemic of Isolation Among Young Men."
Okay, that's
Right.
us.
Yeah. It was written in the Walrus. Here's the opening paragraph. In 2017, former U.S. Surgeon General Vivek Murthy identified the most common threat to public health that he had seen. Isolation and weak social connections, he wrote in Harvard Business Review, are associated with a reduction in lifespan similar to that caused by smoking 15 cigarettes a day, and even greater than that associated with obesity. Loneliness is with a greater risk of cardiovascular disease, dementia, depression, and anxiety.
Jesus.
Yeah, so loneliness might, yeah, like it speaks for itself. A bigger detriment to your health than 15 cigarettes a day.
Hmm.
Yeah, so
That's surprising and also not surprising at the same time.
yeah, it's surprising, yes, but also not surprising.
Yeah.
And it's one of the most, where to start? Like I think the reason why loneliness produces that kind of effect is because we're such social animals,
Mm-hmm.
and like animals existing within a social environment, within a group or a herd, is like it's very ancient.
Mm-hmm.
So like a group of cod or like large schools of fish,
Mm-hmm.
they don't exist as individual fish. You won't ever see in the ocean just an individual cod just like doing its own business, like going, like it exists
Right.
as a school,
Right.
because like an individual cod, they're not adapted to survive like alone. It's
Hmm.
them like, moving as a school and like warding off like predators, or like it's them doing that kind of social dance that allows them to adapt and survive in their environment.
Mm-hmm.
And I think humans are like that. We've always existed within tribes of
Mm-hmm.
like there's the nuclear family and then the extended family, and we usually lived within like common confined spaces
Right.
with mostly like a common narrative understanding of like what the world was like,
Mm-hmm.
like at like most deepest levels, as well as like common shared songs and rituals to, well, those kind of norms and practices that help, you know, create social cohesion, help us communicate information, and help, probably band together better against outside threat. So I think those things were very heavily built into us, like throughout our evolution.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's something that we've probably taken for granted before this whole like globalization and
Right.
suburban sprawl business.
Right.
Because I think sort of our fundamental mistake was that, oh, we can exist as individuals just on our own.
Mm-hmm.
We're like machines. We just need proper nutrition and proper, just nutrition, some exercise, calories in, calories out. You're functioning. You're good to go. But like that's not the way we work at all. Like we can't exist as nodes, like, because we have to exist like embedded within a network.
Right.
And that's where we are most adapted to. But,
complexity.
Yeah, we're designed to exist as like a social nervous system.
That's coin that. I like it.
Like I'm sure I've heard it somewhere before. Like
okay.
Right. Like
yeah.
Like when you imagine like neurons firing together and like that forming like a like a connected network of connections within your own brain, like imagine that at the macro scale. It's like when let's say you guys are all hunting, and when you see a rabbit run by, you immediately, like through common experience, know what to do. Like you all raise your spears and then like prepare to dash, and like it's like a kind of synchronous movement, and like so you're like all, but like you can see from like multiple angles, like you can see the utility of like a connected but separate like nervous system, like an extended nervous system, a social nervous system, something like that. And so anyways, that's the environment we're adapted to. And a big problem of modernity and like suburbanization is treating people as if they were machines, thinking that we can exist as individuals, basically plotting us on grids.
I want to bring up another point too, and Sam's kind of pushing for this in the shadows again. But the question is, why don't people put more effort into this, into making connections and stuff like that? Because I feel like most people do want that connectivity. Most people do want to, have some good friends and be able to share their stories and form these social connections. And the number one reason that I think is important to consider is people are just kind of lazy, or it takes a lot of effort, right? And I guess with globalization and the increase in the scale of the number of people we get to meet, it's even more effort to maintain all those connections, right? So what Sam wants to say, and I guess I support this as well, is, we need more initiators in society. We need more people who are willing to take that risk, make the extra effort to bring people together and to make sure we don't lose sense of that, and promote that as much as we can. Because without any catalysts or initiators, we're just going to default to the easiest thing, and we're just going to be lonely, and we're going to wonder why we're lonely. It's because we don't put in effort.
Okay, yeah, there's the effort part. So you and I have been beneficiaries of initiatives like that. I'm thinking mostly of like the Health Sciences musical. And that's an effort to bring together like a community centered around like the love of music, dancing, the arts, musical. So like I want to ask you, like, how were your experiences with that, and what limitations did you come across, if at all?
This is musical in particular?
Yeah.
Well, the thing I love about HSM is that I can go there and choose to do whatever I want. So some days I don't feel like really interacting with people, and I just focus on the musical. There's always this thing I can always go to. Or sometimes if I'm feeling like I want to talk to people and catch up, then I can do so as well. And I think that model where you're provided a space to do whatever you'd like and you're giving these different opportunities to engage in the community in different ways that you prefer. I think that makes for a very healthy um, social environment. So, like in parties, you often have many different things you can do. Like sometimes, and you see this at like welcome week and stuff like that, they're introducing these things like places for introverts to go and to like play board games or just talk over a coffee or something like that, or hot chocolate. And then there's like a dance party going on in the other room, and there's people like shouting and screaming and dancing.
It's like you're providing ecological niche for each temperament.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's the most successful way to approach these social environments, is to have those different niches that people can go to. So I think particularly HSM does that so well. Number one, it's about music. A lot of people love music, and the people who are in this do it because of music. But also there's the idea of drama, of acting. There's also dance. There's also just the social aspects of talking with people and catching up. So there's a lot to gain from that. So I think that's what really makes HSM so successful.
Yeah, I just want to point out, I think, a number of key points you hit on. I think one is, I think, like one is that a community flourishes when you give individual members autonomy,
right,
ability to self-organize, and to do what they want with the people that they gravitate towards. So that's one thing. The other thing is that there's something intrinsic about the arts, like singing together, dancing, coordinating your nervous systems together, like in a coordinated, harmonious way that facilitates that community building. And the third thing I thought you said that was interesting was, at the beginning you said, when you don't know what to do, you can just work on the musical.
Yeah.
So like what that indicates to me is that there is a common goal of producing the musical.
Right.
And everyone has a common understanding of like their purpose for being there. Or like if I put it another way, like there is a common narrative that you are sharing and like living in.
Right.
That narrative is, we are health science students working together to put on a musical for this cause. So like you're centered around a goal, and that is put on the musical. And people are congregating around that.
Right.
So I think what I want to stress from here is that you need a unifying narrative in order to bring community together. And I think the kind of connections, the kind of community that you can form, and how like the quality of the community and how deep the connections can be, how long lasting the connections can be, how effective it is, and how big it can get, really depends on which narrative you center your community around. So like stories are something that orient people like across time. So this is my so stories give you a sense of like purpose towards like what you're working for in the future. If you have a little bit of background about the past and like why HSM was created, then you see like the past and the future, and like your sort of purpose and motivations all align. And when other people are doing that with the common story, then you have common motivations and you can cooperate, and that facilitates that.
Right.
But there might be, let's say, maybe there can be disagreements in the story.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe like most of HSM is living out that story, but someone else is living out the story of, I am using this as an extracurricular to get into medical school.
Shocking.
Yeah, it's shocking. So that's like, it's like you have like two separate flagpoles.
Right.
It's like the country is divided
Mm-hmm.
by their fundamental motivations and their narrative. So I'm saying, in order to have strong communities,
Mm-hmm.
a coherent and unified narrative to gather around.
Mm.
And I think the difficulty that modern like societies face at the deepest level around building community is not that there isn't effort per se, like there could be
Okay.
a lot more,
Mm-hmm.
but I think the deepest issue is that there's no unifying narrative.
Mm.
Because the unifying narratives we've had in the past are something like our traditional cosmologies, religions, and things like that.
Right. But now we don't.
But it seems like we're living in a secular age with all of that thrown out.
Mm.
And we're trying to kind of grasp at any kind of narrative that could serve the role that, you know, those
Mm-hmm.
grand narratives of the past had served before.
Right.
But I think as a culture, we're having a very difficult time of finding a narrative like that.
I want to challenge that a bit because I'm wondering if we really need some sort of unifying narrative that everyone works under. Why can't there be a complex network of narratives in which different niches, different cliques of individuals can fall under and still contribute to the grand whole? Does that make sense?
Yes. So you're right. There can be cliques working towards a grand whole, but the cliques have to share like enough similarities so that they're not, in complete conflict, opposition
Right.
to one another.
Right.
And so there's like a careful calibration process you need between the cliques to like, it's like in harmony.
Yeah.
When you have
With
like
notes. Yeah.
chord,
Yeah.
very difficult to maintain that chord. Like if you just alter like one note by like a few hertzes,
You're right. Right.
You're not then, even if you're off by 5 hertzes, you're not contributing positively to the greater whole.
Right.
Let's say something like that. So I can appreciate the fact that there can be variations in like interpretation of like the grand narrative,
Mm-hmm.
or like the way in which you choose to live it out.
Mm-hmm.
But it still has to be grounded in like some sort of common understanding, or at
Okay.
least a grand narrative that can accommodate all those disparate approaches.
Right. Right. So, I don't know if it's. I definitely don't think that's possible by design. I think that's a natural process, and the conflict is part of that process in which, different cliques may all believe different things, and they may be in conflict, but eventually someone would come out on top, and that would be the dominant narrative, I suppose, that rules over the smaller cliques, and that would just keep happening and happening until maybe at some point there does arise this overarching theme or narrative that pervades society as a whole. But
Well,
yeah,
do you know the founding stories of Korea?
not too well. Can you give me like a tweet sized
Yeah.
summary?
So our ancestors believed
Mm-hmm.
that there was a sky god, big sky god, and he had a son.
Okay.
The son's single, so he's like ready to mingle. So they sort of had like a bachelor competition.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is not what I expected.
And the two contestants were, there was a bear.
Oh, yeah. Okay. A bear and a tiger.
Bear and a tiger.
Okay.
And for the sky god's son's rose, they competed by, well, staying in a cave, inside a cave, and eating only garlic for, it was something like 90 days.
Okay.
And because the tiger is like carnivorous,
yeah,
the tiger couldn't stand it after like almost getting there, but he left right at the end. I guess yeah, it was a she. She left right at the end.
Yes.
But they're just like, you know, persevered through it and just ate garlic for 90 days.
Yeah.
And when she came out of the cave, she became like a beautiful princess, married the sky god's son.
Oh.
Then they gave birth to, I think, Tangun, who is the founder of Korea.
Okay. Interesting.
So what do you think about that story? Is that a story you think our great ancestors could unify around and build a nation on?
Oh yeah, definitely, man. I love bears. Give me all the bears.
Yeah. So like to modern people, that sounds like a ridiculous proposition for how it sound.
Huh.
But so that story and the theory was explained in kind of this book.
Wow.
I got it in Korea.
That's cool.
There's a famous Korean historian, celebrity guy. Anyways, his explanation was what likely happened was there was a larger tribe or nation that worshipped this like sky deity, and they came into contact with like a smaller tribe that was worshiping probably like tigers. Maybe they had like tigers, ferocious tigers in their area, and another smaller tribe that worshipped bears as their primary deity.
Yeah.
And maybe like there was a political battle, like, but in the end they decided to wed someone from the bear tribe into the sky god worshiping tribe. And so the tiger tribe was decimated while the bear tribe story integrated. So what I see that as is like it's an integration of like a smaller narrative, smaller unifying narrative into a larger one, and basically a weeding out of something that didn't fit. Interesting. Yeah, and yeah, there were some other interpretations that he mentioned, and saying that spoke about sort of the characteristics of Koreans, about like sticking through it and like eating garlic, like just eating garlic, being able to rough it out through you know, maybe those were some of the key characteristics for the mother of
a nation. Yeah. Very interesting.
So you can see even in that story, like how values can compete with one another, and how they rise or fall and are integrated into larger sets of values. It's a very natural process. It takes a long time, but yeah, it's a very natural evolutionary process. Narratives as a story process. It's interesting. As an evolutionary process, sorry. Yeah. Interesting. I want to say something. So Sam commented. He's not commenting on the YouTube link, which makes me mad. He just messages me. He's so special. He's wondering if the lack of a common narrative is caused by millennials who keep challenging the status quo, the status quo narrative. So, you know, the
the postmodernist
Yeah.
perspective of there being multiple interpretations, millions and millions of the same interpretation, so we can't really know what's the right interpretation. I do think there's a lot of noise generated by that, for sure.
Yeah.
And the internet really helps in that, I think, because it so quickly disseminates this sort of information and all these different narratives that people come up with. And, you know, as like it's evolutionary. So as humans, we sort of take that in and we integrate that into our own understandings of the world, like beyond our conscious effort. Like it just happens naturally, right? Because we want to understand the world and the narrative it possesses. So we get this constant influx of information, and millennials are a big source of that information, I think. So I definitely do hear what Sam's saying, and I wonder how we're going to get through it. Like, what kind of conflict is waiting for us, such that all these like so many different narratives will come and start fighting each other. It's going to be, yeah, the flood's coming. The flood is coming.
Well, yeah, I do agree that there is millennials for sure are a contributor to the rejection of, you know, grand narratives in general.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of like cynical, skeptical, nihilistic outlook. But you know, that process started happening hundreds of years ago, I think. And I think it started happening from like the scientific revolution,
right?
With the discoveries of Kepler and Galileo. So it was something like there was a huge shift in cosmology,
Mm-hmm.
the way that people understood the world. Like prior to that, so the world prior to the scientific revolution the model was something like Earth and humanity is at the center of everything.
Right.
And the stars, the suns, the planets all revolve us like harmoniously. And that's all like God's intricate design of the universe, and it's all beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
But you have the shit disturber coming around in Galileo and Kepler, and they proved through like literally a new lens,
mm-hmm. Wow,
invention of the telescope,
right?
That model of the universe seemed to be wrong.
Mm.
And that sort of like is taking the carpet, like the rug under the, you know, foundation of like the Catholic Church, let's say, which was the, you know, major power in Europe, and sort of the model of the universe, like the core assumptions that they were working under. So you take that out, and that leaves room for, you know, generations of skeptics and doubt, and yeah, kind of it produced like a ripple, but it like took centuries to play out.
Mm-hmm. Right.
When you change like it's like changing a really big. It's like when you turn a really big gear. Is that the right analogy? No. Okay. Let's drop that analogy. But
sure.
But it's like a pendulum swing that takes hundreds of years to complete.
Before it settles down.
Yeah. So I think sort of the effect of the scientific revolution and its like, well, it turned the world upside down, like from the world that we thought we knew,
right,
and to a place of like complete chaos and nihilism. So like this may sound like very pseudoscientific, but I think like the pendulum swings from that and extreme nihilism to a desire for extreme order and cohesion, as you might like maybe Nazi Germany or like the communist states, totalitarian states are like a reflection of that, to something resembling. There are big swings in history like that.
Right. And are we going to land on the middle sometime, the golden mean at some point?
Yeah, well, we don't know what part of the swing we're on.
And
maybe
whether we don't live long enough to know.
Whether it's gonna spiral out of control or so in complex systems, if I can like chip in a little bit, you can draw what's called a phase diagram.
Okay.
So imagine that on like with a pendulum. Pendulum is a simple system. So there's an input and then there's like a predictable output, right? That predictable output is bop, 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 bop. So if map the properties of that pendulum system on an axis, say like one thing is like velocity and the other is position. I'm not sure if I have the things right. You'll get something approximating like a spiral inwards. Velocity decreases and nears zero.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
So you can, yeah.
It's like it would be like this, but if you graph it like that, it would. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So what's interesting is that you can map the trajectory of systems, onto a diagram. And what a MIT meteorologist called Lorentz figured out in the 1980s was that you can do the same thing for like complex weather systems.
Right.
And maybe you'd expect it to be like completely chaotic and make like no sense at all. But it actually forms like a regular pattern. It's called, what's it called? The Lorentz. That shape is referred to as the Lorentz attractor because it seems like it's revolving around like a pattern or like a attractor. So that demonstrated that complex systems can have regularities in pattern, just like a pendulum does. It can be like a
system.
Just like a simple system. But the thing that's different about complex systems is that it undergoes phase transitions, where it can be like revolving around one attractor pattern, but then something shifts, major shifts in the environment, or like there's a major paradigm shift, and then you see patterns of chaos, and then a new pattern spontaneously emerges. It's either that or the system just completely collapses and falls into chaos. So it goes through like a cycle. Complex systems can go through a cycle of death and rebirth, or just literally death. Just forever.
So does that bode well for us?
So that's the complex systems. But there is hope because turbulence and chaos is potentially a sign of a major phase transformation into a new pattern of being. If not, it's just the end.
Okay. And on that happy note, thank you for sharing. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, Sam,
for
letting us rant
and commenting on the. Sam did comment. He made one comment. It says fine.
Yeah.
It says fine. I'll comment here.
I couldn't hear that.
Said he'll comment on the YouTube.
Okay.
That's his only comment. But there you go. We should have Sam over sometime.
That would be good.
The good old days.
Like the good old days.
The Pyong days. Pyong.
We had Byung days.
Remember when we had our live stream and we Pyong. Okay.
Okay.
All right, my dude. We'll talk to you soon. We got to talk more about the road trip.
Yep. I will see you next week.
Yes.
Go like my Facebook post and
Oh yeah, true.
we can have one.
zero likes. GG.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Sam, give us feedback if you have any. We love feedback. Oh my God, Sam made a question. Fuck. We'll answer this next time, Sam. Peace.
But peace.